Welcome to the Blossom Mindset, a space for growth, reflection, and taking intentional steps towards the life that you want to create. I am your host, Lindsay, a behavior analyst, certified clinical trauma specialist, author, and entrepreneur. This podcast is here to support you in building self-awareness, reconnecting with your values, and moving forward with more clarity and intention. Together, we'll explore mindset shifts, practical tools, and meaningful conversations to help you work through challenges, realign when life feels off, and continue growing in ways that truly matter. As a gentle reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for any mental health or behavioral health treatment. I'm so grateful you are here and ready to start your personal growth journey. Let's get started. Good morning and welcome back to the Blossom Mindset. Today we're going to get a little bit deeper and get a little real because sometimes life does not work out how you want it to, and it can be very frustrating, can cause some overload, and you may feel like you're at a crossroads and you just don't know what to do. So today we're going to get real. We're going to identify what we can do when we're at that crossroads and how to move forward with more intention and a regulated nervous system. Because sometimes when we are overloaded, when we come to that crossroads of what do, I feel like everything is crumbling and it's not working. What do we do? Are you going to allow that feeling to overcome you? Or are you going to navigate that with regulation and being able to move forward with more intention? So I know we are halfway through the year and it started off rough. If those of you who have followed along my journey, it was a very rough start to the year and things got better. And there's going to be times where we're going to have to navigate some new challenges, especially if you are a business owner or navigating other dynamics in your life. The past few weeks have been very challenging. Without getting into too much detail, there's been a lot of decisions that I have had to navigate and learn how to make from the business world, and it's not easy. And it's okay for things not to be easy. Sometimes we feel like, oh, it all has to go right, or I can't do anything right. It has to be a certain way. And those are rules that your mind is creating, that it has to go a certain way. It has to be perfect. You have to have this full plan. Nothing can go wrong. It will. There's going to be times where things are going to go wrong, that you don't have control over everything. If we think about it on a day-to-day basis, how many decisions do we have to make? How much is out of our control that you have to learn to navigate? And for business owners, it is a lot. Whether you're operating a full team, whether you're operating a brick and mortar, there's so many decisions that go into it, and it can be quite challenging because you have to learn how to weigh the pros and cons of each decision, and you won't always know what the outcome of those decisions are going to be. Like I said, it's been very challenging these past few weeks with having to make some major decisions, and I still don't know what the path forward is going to be. I feel like I'm doing everything right, and at the same time, it also feels hard. I am navigating working with clients and protecting clients and making sure that they have access to the right services, while also dealing with some things on the back end that can be quite challenging to navigate. And even to accept, it feels like I'm failing. Am I really? No, I've built a successful business. I'm not failing, but in the moment, your mind can take that trigger, and it's a perceived trigger. It's a perceived threat to the brain, and it can shut down. So you're operating with kind of like, they called it in a training I did, like that lizard brain, the survival mode brain, where you don't have access to processing all the information. So that's where regulation comes in when it's time to make choices and know what to do and how to move forward. And seeking support when you're unsure and you don't know what to do, because it can be a lot if you don't have a support system. So when you are coming up to those crossroads, I want you to ask yourself, what is the challenge or obstacle that I'm trying to face? And what direction or what action would move me towards my goals? What matters most to me right now? With those decisions, asking yourself, what is that top value in those moments, even if those values are conflicting? There typically will be a top one to help you guide your choice. So I want you to use those values to help you understand how you can then move forward in what matters most. It doesn't mean that you know it's the right choice, because we don't know the outcome of either of the choices that we're making. It doesn't mean that it's going to solve all the problems, because again, you don't know the outcome of the choices. And it also doesn't mean that you are disregarding the other values and what's important to you. But we have to move forward when we get stuck. And to do so, your actions have to align with the direction that you want to go. And when we're looking at choices and decisions and operating a business too, there is so much that can be out of our control. So how other people respond, what is happening in the external world, what is happening in the environment, people canceling, people saying no when you reach out for contracts or when you reach out to expand, you're going to get a lot of no's that you cannot control. However, you did choose to put yourself out there. And if you didn't, there wouldn't be an opportunity for a yes. So when you look at what is in your control, because sometimes when we feel like things are out of control, one, we can't think right. We don't always make the right decision or the best decision in the moment, because again, is there a right or wrong decision? We won't know sometimes. And your brain can then kind of take control over you, where it's like, I'm failing, this isn't working, I don't know what to do, I can't do this. And it can stop you from acting forward. Or we sit there. We may replay conversations in our mind. We may replay the scenario, and we're so stuck internally that it can be hard to navigate moving forward with actionable steps. So when you're noticing that you're getting stuck in those internal cycles of, I can't do this, everything's crumbling, I'm failing, what are people going to think of me? Being able to pause and to regulate is going to be your first step. Whether it's shifting your environment, going for a walk, going to exercise, grabbing a drink that you really like, and being able to reconnect in with yourself. And it can take a little bit of time. It's not easy, and it's okay to feel those ways too. But the point is to also notice when your thoughts are controlling you, and it's these rules that you've created in your mind that are stopping you from moving forward in a way that is more aligned, that is moving you towards your goals, especially within business. So to be able to regulate is going to be key right there, to notice and to shift out of that mindset to what is in your control. One thing that worked for me this week, without going into too much detail, I wrote out a list of, these are the steps that I'm going to take. These are the people I'm going to call for support. These are the options that I'm going to look into, because that is what is in my control. Sometimes we can overdo it. Sometimes we can overthink, and we can sometimes make the problem worse, but we won't know until we try. And that's where we have to learn how to navigate these different choices, because it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. And that is a choice that you kind of make when you step into being an entrepreneur or operating a business. You take on that responsibility. So it's up to you on how you handle it. Are you going to let that responsibility crumple you and push you down? Or are you going to make the choice to move forward and to navigate forward in the direction that aligns? And if the direction that aligns for you when you're navigating tough choices is to pause or to shut down, as long as it aligns with your values and it's what you need in those moments, it's okay. You can give yourself some grace because you are making that choice. And again, it can be very difficult to learn how to navigate these different situations. So coming back in with yourself, taking a moment to reflect instead of allowing yourself to crumple down. When life gets hard, it's okay. If you need to sit in those feelings for a moment, sit in those feelings. But try not to take action in those moments, because it may not be the most helpful action. You may end up saying an email or sending an email saying the wrong thing that you might regret later when you're in that heightened state of emotions. There might be other choices that you make too in those moments that come out of that fear or that dysregulation that stop you or create some more chaos. So in those moments, if you need to feel those feelings, feel it. And then slowly work to regulate and shift out of it when you feel like everything is crumbling, I just want to give up. Do you? Ask yourself that. Do you want to give up? Or is it what you think in the moment because of all the external variables that are happening? So really connecting in with yourself, regulate, and then make that action plan forward. Write out your next 3 to 5 steps that you can take that are in your control. Because remember, you can only control how you respond to your thoughts. You can't control necessarily what ones show up. You control how you respond, you can control how you shift them, and you can control your actions moving forward. You can't control anybody else. You can't always control what's happening in the environment, and you can't really always control the outcome. But you can choose and you can control how you are going to navigate through it. And the more that you can connect in, reflect, and align with your values, as tough as it is, it can still be a little bit easier to move forward. And it doesn't mean you always agree with all the decisions. It doesn't mean you always feel good about the decisions. It doesn't mean that everything is going to work out because of one decision you made. It's a journey. That's what entrepreneurship and business is. There's going to be times that you're going to navigate those obstacles. It might feel like it's overcoming you at whatever stage of business you're in, whether it's the beginning operating stages, or maybe you're 10 years in and you overcome an obstacle or some challenges rise. There's always going to be points where we are going to have to navigate those challenges, those obstacles, those barriers. It's up to us to identify the barriers and identify an action plan going forward. So if you are operating a business and you are feeling like, I don't know what to do, I feel like things are out of control and I am failing, here's some reflection questions for you. Number 1 is, what matters to me most right now? The next one, what is in my control right now? And how can I problem solve? Number 3, what is completely out of my control that is causing this fear, that is causing this feeling of feeling overwhelmed or these thoughts of I'm failing? And the last one is, what do I need right now to move forward in a way that feels most aligned with me? So take some time, go back to those questions if you need it during any times of challenges or obstacles. Reconnect with yourself. Ask yourself what's important and identify actions that are going to move you towards your goals. And again, we can't control everything that's happening externally or sometimes even internally. We can control how we respond to it and how we are going to move forward. So are you going to allow that obstacle to overcome you, or are you going to move forward in the direction that you want to go? And that's where that blossom mindset comes in. Are you going to choose to grow? And even if it's moving away from your goals for a while and shifting and creating a new direction, that is okay. That is you growing. So you choose what is most important to you and how you want to navigate moving forward. Thank you for tuning into the Blossom Mindset today. I hope that you can take that time to reflect, really reconnect with yourself, and identify the next steps that you can take to move forward and grow towards your goals. Thank you for joining in on this episode of The Blossom Mindset with me. I hope that our discussion has inspired you to take actionable steps towards blossoming into your fullest potential. Don't forget, the best way to show your support is by liking, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review on this podcast. Feel free to drop any ideas for future podcast topics by commenting on my most recent Instagram post of this episode. If you are interested in additional resources or one-to-one coaching, check out our website linked in the show notes. I am so proud of you. By tuning in and listening, you just took one small, actionable step forward towards blossoming into your fullest potential.